you're not going to participate, you may as well leave. The words pierced my skin. My stomach dropped. It was a Tuesday. I was in class when the teacher announced we'd be reading our speeches to a partner. 3 minutes into the activity, the teacher came over. She saw I wasn't speaking aloud and immediately got upset. "Are you going to do it?" she asked. She knew I didn't speak in class. I couldn't. It was all over my records to allow me to communicate alternatively, yet she still expected me to participate like everyone else. She asked again, then said, "There's no point in being here if you're not going to participate. You're not helping anyone. You may as well leave." I wasn't being disruptive. I was participating in my own way, but she insisted I leave. Walking out didn't just mean leaving that one class. It felt like I was leaving my chance to belong. No matter how hard I tried, it wasn't good enough unless I did it like everyone else. My name is Lily, I am 15 and I'm autistic, but I'm different, not less. The way I was treated in that classroom is not unique to me. Society still views disability in the same way it did 200 years ago. We have become more inclusive in so many aspects of life, yet people's differences are still seen as deficits. The medical model of disability in relation to autism is the idea that autism is a disorder that must be cured. I have lived with autism for 15 years and I can say firsthand that it is not a disorder. From the moment we are diagnosed, autistic individuals like me are told that we will never succeed, never be educated, never find employment, never live independently. But that is a lie. We are not broken. The real problem is not autism. It is a world that refuses to see our potential and makes small accommodations that could help us thrive. This is the medical model of disability. People think outdated ideas about disability are behind us, but they're not. Even back in the 1800s, society became fixated on what we couldn't do. That belief, that we're less just because we're different, still shapes how we're treated today. Even the word disability has negative connotations, portraying us as less able. How do you think it would feel to grow up hearing that? Hearing that your ability is less than your friends or your siblings. Hearing that what you can do isn't important. And when the world expects you to be less, you start to hide the parts of you that make you feel less important. Autistic individuals were taught, directly or indirectly, to hide their authentic selves, to avoid the judgment that was surrounding them. But this wasn't just 200 years ago. This is today. Autistic people are still losing sight of their true identity as they hide behind a mask they feel they must wear to survive. A mask that traps us and painfully manipulates us into someone we're not. Everyone masks. You did for that job interview you wanted to nail or that speech you wanted to ace. But masking 24/7 comes at a cost and creates many challenges for me and all autistic Australians. Approximately 80% of autistic adults have experienced a mental illness in their lifetime, and over 35% of autistic individuals have attempted suicide. Why? Because we are all living in a world dictated by the medical model, a model that sees autistic differences as deficits, a model that sees autistic individuals as less than human. I am only one autistic perspective, so I can't tell you all the accommodations we should make to help all autistic people, but I can tell you that the most important thing we can all do is listen. With over 300,000 autistic Australians, it is time for society to see their differences as strengths and to listen to their individual voices. We need society to learn from their autistic experience, and we need to hear from a range of autistic individuals from various age groups and locations. We also must stop focusing on what an individual is unable to do, and rather focus on the societal barriers to participation encountered by individuals with disabilities. We need to try and put small accommodations in place, which could range from having all supermarkets fitted with a sensory room, to being open to allow sensory-friendly alternatives for work and school uniforms. This is the social model of disability. If we were to move to this model, research will be targeted at ways to support autistic individuals to thrive, and we would no longer be disabled by the medicalised barriers to participation created by society. Another crucial step in removing the medical model from our society is to eliminate the stigma surrounding autism. We need to stop dehumanising and alienating autistic people, and there's a simple way to do this: education. Think about it for a moment. Sure, some people are just plain mean, and that's a problem on its own. But when I think back to that moment in my class, I don't believe my teacher was being cruel. She just didn't understand. Now imagine if she had understood, if she had known what I was going through. Would that situation have played out any differently? We can't afford to leave things to chance. Education is the key. If teachers, employers, and medical professionals were trained to understand autism better, the way autistic individuals are treated would shift dramatically. But it doesn't stop there. Education needs to reach the wider community too. Let's teach everyone, not just autistic individuals, but the world, about how our brains work. Let's empower autistic people to understand and embrace their own neurology. Knowledge is power, and with this knowledge, we can transform how society thinks, talks, and interacts with autism, turning misunderstanding into acceptance and alienation into inclusion. My specific idea for implementing this education is to expand events such as Autism Awareness Day and Neurodiversity Celebration Week. We need to branch out so that these events are celebrated in whole schools, not just learning support rooms, and make it so these events are commonly celebrated in workplaces and the wider community as a whole. With small changes put in place, we could improve many autistic people's lives for the better. It is time for that change. So will you choose acceptance? On behalf of all autistic people just like me, I hope that your answer is yes. Thank you.